It's 10 a.m. on WKYT Midmorning. We're counting down to game time. The Wildcats getting ready for the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Police testify about the night a Lexington teenager was murdered.
A lockdown can be a real bear, especially when it happens at the zoo. Polar bears on the loose led to people freezing in place up in Cincinnati.
This is WKYT Midmorning.
Good morning from WKYT. Welcome in. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. Glad you're along with us.
Everything represented today. St. Patrick's Day and Kentucky.
Well,
so
I did put a little green on, but you know, you had to go for the big blue, too.
I understand. It's going to be a big day, certainly, for the Wildcats later on today. And a nice day to start things off. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, another clear day outside. It's beautiful. And we're going to have that again tomorrow. And then the weekend gets a little sloppy. There's live sky camera. It's going to be this way the rest of the day. We're in the low to mid 50s at this moment. It's not a bad feel already. And once we hit the afternoon, we'll actually be in the lower 60s. It is getting cooler. Still pretty decent outside, but breezy conditions toward the afternoon. That'll continue to funnel in that cooler air. We'll be in the 30s overnight. And I'll talk about where we're going to fall toward the weekend and when the snow chance actually moves in the forecast. That's coming up.
All right. Snow, there's the word.
Yeah, let's think about that later. Think about basketball today instead.
Yes, because it is game day. The Kentucky Wildcats will play their first game in this year's NCAA tournament tonight.
Coach John Calipari says the Cats know that Stony Brook is a good team and not one to be overlooked. WKYT's Dave Baker joins us in the studio now with more on tonight's game. Fuzzy.
Guys, everything that happens around this big fishbowl known as Kentucky basketball is pointed toward this, the NCAA tournament. And that road to Houston begins tonight in Des Moines. This one is about as David and Goliath as you can get. The Cats, the winningest team in the NCAA, in tiny Stony Brook, making its first ever trip to that party known as the Big Dance. But this is also the first year in the history of the NCAA tournament that every team in the field has at least 4 losses. And John Calipari knows his team is far from invincible.
First game's the hardest. I'll throw that out there and all the coaches in this tournament who have been here a number of years know the teams get better as you advance, but the first one is the hard one, especially if you have guys like we do. We start 3 freshmen who have never played in an NCAA tournament game.
Of course, when the Cats open a tournament, we'll have it for you. It'll be tonight at approximately 9:40. It's the second game of that night session. Our NCAA coverage begins at noon today. You can keep it right here for the home of the NCAA tournament, Cats in Des Moines against Stony Brook at about 9:40 tonight, guys. One bracket tip for you. Good day, St. Patrick's Day, not to bet against Notre Dame. Much more coming up later.
Okay.
All right.
Good
we'll
idea.
take that tip under consideration. Even the President of the United States is getting swept up in March Madness.
President Obama filled out his brackets for the NCAA tournament. He has Kentucky losing in the Sweet 16 to North Carolina. Obama picked UNC, Michigan State, Kansas, and Texas A&M to be in the Final Four. And he has Kansas winning it all, by the way. Don't forget about our Hoops Hysteria Bracket Challenge. You can take Baker on. It's your chance to win some awesome prizes like a 65-inch LED smart TV or up to $1 million. And it's simple to play. Just sign up at WKYT.com.
Other news now, a meeting is underway this morning in Georgetown to discuss the future of the Bluegrass stockyards. The old Lexington stockyard was destroyed in one of the worst fires in the city's history. The new large facility is set to be built on top of the aquifer off I-75 on the Fayette-Scott County line. Some are concerned that rebuilding there could contaminate Georgetown's main drinking water supply. An advisory group is expected to make recommendations today after being briefed by the owners of the stockyards.
Today, the community has another chance to help out a Lexington firefighter who is battling cancer. The Nicholasville Fire Department is cooking up an Irish breakfast at the Break Room on Manchester Street in Lexington this morning. All of the money raised will help support firefighter Matt Logsden, who was recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. The firefighters say they are prepared to cook for up to 500 people. Well, the case against a man accused of killing a Lexington teenager has now been waived to the grand jury. Marquez Smith is charged with murder. Police say he shot Caleb Hallett during a robbery in January. They testified about the evidence in the case this morning during Smith's preliminary hearing. Hallett and a friend were in a car on University Avenue when they were both shot. Hallett died and his friend survived.
The Kentucky House voted along party lines to pass the state budget. All 53 House Democrats voted for the budget that did not get a single vote from House Republicans. The budget restores many of the cuts proposed by Governor Matt Bevin, including cuts he wants for higher education. And it uses surplus money from a state employee health insurance fund to cover state pension debt. The budget now goes to the Republican-controlled Senate. Well, despite the House passing its budget, Morehead State University is still planning for the higher education funding cuts the governor has proposed. Last night, the university announced its furlough plan for staff and administrators. They'll have to have 5 furlough days, one during each pay period between the end of April and the end of June. Now, as for full-time faculty, they'll receive a non-recurring salary reduction for next school year that's equal to 5 contract days of pay.
President Obama's Supreme Court Justice nominee Merrick Garland will be meeting with Democrats on Capitol Hill later today, but some Republicans are not changing their no hearing, no vote, not even a meeting stance. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he won't be meeting with Garland, but says he wishes him well.
It is the president's constitutional right to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and it is the Senate's constitutional right to act as a check on a president and withhold its consent.
Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Charles Grassley says he is open to meeting with Garland in the coming weeks. SeaWorld says it is ending its practice of killer whale breeding. The decision, which SeaWorld says will take effect immediately, follows years of controversy over keeping orcas in captivity. The company also says it will partner with the Humane Society and introduce new natural orca encounters.
Well, 2 polar bears caused some tense moments at the Cincinnati Zoo. The zoo says the 2 bears took advantage of an open den door and made it to a behind-the-scenes service hallway. Because of a double containment system in place, the zoo says the bears never made it out of the exhibit. The staff asked all visitors to stay in place until they got the polar bears back where they belonged.
I was obviously terrified. I was shaking and having her with me, my 2-year-old. So, I love the zoo. I love everything that they do. I'm a huge promoter of the zoo, but at the same time, it's kind of, unsettling.
Now, the zoo says the bears will be back on exhibit by the end of the week. Full excitement.
After they get over their little almost freedom, right?
They almost got there, yes.
All right. Well, the word is move over Marty McFly. Nike is back to the future self-tying shoes. They have finally become a reality.
When you step into the new Hyper Adapt shoes, your heel hits a sensor and the shoe automatically tightens. There are 2 buttons on the side to tighten and loosen the shoe to make it fit perfectly. The shoe will be available only to members of Nike Plus beginning later this year. Wow, it's here.
It may be for everybody soon, right?
That's right. We'll keep it right here this mid-morning. A dog lost at sea for 5 weeks is found alive and well.
Yeah, and very sweet. How did she survive? You're going to find out coming up after weather.
We have bright blue skies outside for today, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. The next 48 hours look good, but they're cooler, and then that's when we start to draw some things for the weekend. I'll show you that with snow in your forecast coming up.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We have no problems going on outside. It's a really nice feel, even though we're in the 50s right now. And it's not the 60s quickly like we were yesterday and the day before. It's still very pleasant. Now, we have bright blue skies not only today, but for the next couple of days. Then we hit the weekend, and that's when the bottom drops out. That's when things really change big time. Get into your weekend, cold conditions head our way, and even maybe some snowflakes. We'll see. 54 right now in Mount Sterling, 52 in Richmond. You got the 50s, a couple of 40s here and there. It's a good start to the day. Let's talk about your forecast there for St. Patrick's Day as we go through the day. In just about an hour, hour and a half, you're talking about sunny still, but some breezy conditions. It really starts to pick up. It's not really patio type of weather. I know it's beautiful outside, but 57 with a 10, 20 mile per hour breeze doesn't feel great. It's still a little bit chilly, but once we hit the afternoon, low 60s, that's actually a pretty good feel. We go off into the evening. If you're planning on going out toward the evening, maybe heading out to the Sweet 16 downtown, or you're heading out to some of these restaurants early enough to get a seat to watch the game later on tonight, it's a pretty cool evening. Once that sun sets, it's going to be a bit chilly outside. And then we focus our attention on Saturday and Sunday. Not so much Friday, because Friday is mainly dry and also holding on to those cooler temperatures. But Saturday, here comes some rain, right? And maybe even some snow mixed in during the morning hours. But I'm still leaning more toward heading out toward late Saturday into Sunday that snow starts to mix in. That's when the coldest air slides in. When that coldest air interacts with some of this, you're going to have to watch this very closely. I just looked at the latest weather models, and so my forecast is leaning more toward a rain-snow mix, but now we have to watch these temperatures. It's a must, just like 2 weeks ago, where 4 degrees made a huge difference. Huge difference. So there will be plenty of moisture. Where will the temperatures be? That's something to watch, and that's going to be one we'll really have to make the call there on mainly Saturday to actually make the call on that one on how much you can expect. But light accumulations are possible with this system. Not very heavy, but light as of right now. That wintry mix, once again, late Saturday into early Sunday, that is your best bet. Here's your 7-day forecast. Next couple of days look pretty good. The weekend, not so much, but that's a good weekend to sit inside and watch a few ball games. I think we'll be just fine with that. Next week, you can see a short-lived, because next week 68 on Tuesday, 75 there on Wednesday. All in all, it's a good-looking forecast, but just not for the weekend. It's bad timing on this one.
All right, early morning viewers got to see the socks. So.
Well, I was just admiring.
Check that out.
Oh, thank you so much.
I did blue for the Cats tonight, and then green, so if anybody pinches me.
We understand.
Why
Well,
would anybody do something like that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
he can't wear green over there in front of the green screen. Wouldn't work.
Just
All right.
pinched you anyway. All right.
I'm okay with it.
Here's a good story with a happy ending. A whale of a tale about a dog.
Fisherman Nick Hayworth lost his dog overboard more than a month ago. He looked for the 18-month-old German Shepherd for 2 days, then reported her missing, and the Coast Guard began its search. Luna was spotted this week on San Clemente Island, a Navy-owned training base 70 miles from San Diego. She apparently swam to the island and may have lived off mice.
Never even thought in my wildest dreams that this would be a possibility, that I would ever see her coming, ever see her again.
I didn't think this was when I signed up, when I became the CEO. I never thought that this would happen, but this was definitely a good story.
Now, Luna was flown to the Coronado Air Base, hungry but healthy, and she's going to be reunited with her owner when he returns from a trip today. Isn't that great?
It really is a great story.
Oh, man, I would love to see that reunion.
Only Luna knows what she's been through, right?
That's right, but I'm sure it was an ordeal.
Yeah.
But Angelina Jolie is mobbed on a mercy mission, and Frank Sinatra Jr. has passed away.
Suzanne Marquez has your eye on entertainment.
Frank Sinatra Jr. passed away Wednesday after canceling a performance in Daytona Beach, Florida. His family said in a statement the 72-year-old died of cardiac arrest. Sinatra followed his famous father in the music business. He was kidnapped and held for ransom when he was 19 years old.
You need to back up. It's not safe for the children.
Angelina Jolie was mobbed by media in Athens Wednesday as she visited refugees and migrants in the Greek capital. More than 140,000 refugees have entered Greece from Turkey. The Academy Award-winning actress is an envoy for the United Nations Refugee Agency.
You think you've seen it all. Take another look.
This will be an exciting summer at the movies if you're a Morgan Freeman fan. The Oscar winner has major parts in 2 upcoming films. He is reprising his role as a magician turned investigator in Now You See Me 2, opening in June. The sequel to the 2013 magic drama also reunites stars Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, and Mark Ruffalo, along with Daniel Radcliffe in a new role.
What is your name? Ben-Hur.
And Freeman will also be in this summer's Ben-Hur. He plays a man who teaches Jack Houston's title character how to ride a chariot in biblical Rome. It opens in August. And that's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, coming right up, she's in the house, the queen of Southern Sass, and she's a favorite here in Lexington.
Always. Etta May is here with us next on WKYT. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot, $25 million, and Saturday night's Powerball jackpot is $80 million.
Out-of-control overdose victims high on synthetic drugs.
They're paranoid, they're hallucinating, never seen anything like it.
What hospitals are doing to keep patients and staff safe from potential danger. Addicts in the ER. Tonight at 6 on WKYT.
Thanks.
Welcome back in. Great to have you with us on WKYT. She is a Lexington favorite, and she has been described as Minnie Pearl with a migraine.
Etta May is at Comedy Off-Broadway starting tonight, and we're happy to have her here with us this morning.
Minnie Pearl with a sinus infection.
There you go.
Is that what it's more like? Everybody's excited about the cats today.
Who are we playing? Brian Station tonight or something? What is Stony Brook? It sounds like a nursing home that I need to look into for my parents.
Oh, they better not be listening. I hope they don't hear that comment.
Yes. Can you imagine? Wouldn't it be embarrassing to get beat by Stony Brook?
They call themselves sea wolves, whatever that is.
Sea wolf.
Yeah.
A sea wolf.
Think about that one. You like that?
It's kind of like that dog that got lost. It was
a sea wolf.
It was a sea German Shepherd. Sea wolf.
What do you think?
And then, okay, I want to talk to Micah.
Oh, yeah, please. The weather's been...
Well, he's right over there.
Micah, what is going on? Like, Kentucky is like a 50-year-old woman going through her change. Because 1 minute we got hot flashes, and it's 80 degrees, and we're going to need a coat. I'm going to be freezing by Saturday. So
it's not easy to plan, is it?
I know.
Hard to adjust.
And my trees are blooming, and they're confused.
Well, do you have part of your summer wardrobe out already? Or?
Yeah. Yesterday I was in a thong and pasties, and this weekend I guess I'll be in a parka.
Well, that's a change. That's different.
Do what you have to.
That's going to be in Micah's mind for a while. Being a thong and pasties.
Well, how's the family getting along?
Oh my goodness! I got to tell you something.
What?
Okay, I'm stupid, but sometimes I get distracted. But my kids told me that it was spring break.
Okay.
So I just believed them. And I was driving this morning, and I saw these school buses and stuff, and kids on the corner.
Oh,
my kids all lied to me, so now all my kids are grounded.
Are they home?
They stayed home today.
Well, if they're grounded, they might like staying home.
That's the problem. I'm grounding you, and then it's like, wait a minute, that's exactly what you wanted. So,
no, you need to send them to school.
They're grounded with their iPods and so my kids are in trouble. We're gonna, my husband and I, we're gonna decide what's going to take place. But I was driving, I was doing radio this morning, and I was driving going, what's all these school buses? And are they taking field trips? Are these school buses going to Daytona Beach, or what's going on?
It may be.
But my kids swore to me that it was spring break. So.
Okay, there's going to be trouble later, right?
Yeah.
All right, you love Lexington and playing the stage out here, don't you?
I do. I'm here. I started last night. I'm here for 2 weeks, so through Saturday, and then next week, Wednesday through Saturday. So people got plenty of time to come and see me. And
work it around basketball.
Working around basketball.
Yeah.
Hey, and new material and new terrible things have happened to me. So
as always.
That we'll all chuckle about.
I turned 50. I turned 50 years old, and I just feel terrible.
Worse things can happen.
A lot of people can relate to that. All right.
I feel bad.
Etta May,
Thanks
everybody.
for being here. Everybody come out and see Etta May.
Thanks for being here.
Keep it right here this mid-morning.
Going to check in with the Mr. Food Test Kitchen next and see what's whipping up there. Coming up a little later, it's WKYT News at noon.
A man in Pulaski County Jail talks about why he led police on an overnight high-speed chase.
We'll find out what was discussed at a meeting this morning in Georgetown about concerns over the future site of the Bluegrass Stockyards. And we'll catch up with our crew in Des Moines. The Kentucky Wildcats preparing to take on Stony Brook in the NCAA tournament.
News, weather, and sports ahead at noon on the CW.
Right, because the ball games start over on CBS.
Watch a little news, then come back and watch some more games. That's great. Well, leaping leprechauns, one sip of this thick shake, and you'll think you found a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
It looks good. Today in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, it's minty Irish milkshake.
Happy St. Patty's Day. In case you forgot that today is the day to salute all things Irish, no worries, because we have a couple quick as a wink ideas that are easy, fun, and simply delicious. What if I told you you could make these shortbread cookies from scratch using only 5 ingredients? Well, you can. And when we top these with an off-the-shelf frosting that we accented with a bit of green food coloring, Are we ever in for an Irish treat? And to wash them down, let me show you how to make a simple Irish milkshake that is leprechaun approved. All we do is add a good amount of vanilla ice cream and some milk to a blender. And to give it lots of its minty taste, we add a few chocolate-covered mint patties along with a couple of drops of green food coloring. We give that a whirl, and in seconds, we have a super rich shake that is ready to serve. Let me tell you, this goes great with our homemade cookies. So since it's already St. Patty's Day, you better go online right now and get the recipes for our shamrock shortbread and Irish milkshake. This way, you'll be armed with everything you need to celebrate tonight or anytime you want some tasty treats. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a lucky way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. You got your own straw.
Yep, delicious.
They're ready to go.
All straw, right?
Sure it is.
Okay, let's look and see what's going on the rest of the day. We'll be at 62 degrees with partly sunny skies. A few clouds filter in later on, but don't expect any rain the next 48 hours. It's about the temperatures diving. Saturday is going to be the interesting day. It looks like the coldest air is now moved in a little bit earlier on some of these weather models. So I'm going to show you new data coming up at noon talking about this snow chance.
And that's noon on the CW.
Yeah.
On the CW, correct.
And then warmer next week. I think Etta May had it right here a little earlier. Thank you for being with us. Have a good one.